USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
British Spy Stories. Next week is the final episode of Double Agent. The week after that, we start Season 5. Kill or Be Killed. Gabby Lane, Agent Hands and Agent Laravel go undercover to penetrate and destroy Nox Ventura, a European-wide crime syndicate that is stealing secret information from governments and selling it on to clandestine organizations. Week after next, Season 5. Kill or Be Killed. On the British Spy Stories podcast. Season 4. Double Agent. Episode 31. Gabby is the first to regain consciousness. She looks around. Kate is leaning against the broken side window, and Hans lays across the front controls, his foot bent backwards. She rocks them both gently and says their names. Slowly, Kate comes round. They both wake Hans, but as soon as he moves, he cries out, "Oh, my foot." "Fracture?" says Gabby. "Feels like it." Gabby pulls out her mobile and dials a number. "Catharsis Centre, this is Agent Blackhawk. Immediate recovery needed. 3 resource." The controller at the MI6 Catharsis Centre pulls up a map on a large screen that dominates the room. 6 operators at desks with computer equipment around them inhabit the space, all facing large screens. "Blackhawk, this is Catharsis Centre. Your recovery call is registered at 0929 local time. Your location is mountainous, Blackhawk. You'll need air recovery. Can you confirm?" "Confirmed, Catharsis," she says. The controller punches a button in a bank of 12 to one side. "Delta S6, scramble, scramble, scramble. Location is patched into your navigation." A voice comes over the speakers in the room. "Delta S6 confirmed. Scramble, scramble, scramble." 26 miles to the south of Gabby, in a Swiss airbase, the crew of a Wildcat Mark I helicopter run from their waiting area to the craft. It rises into the air and turns north towards the spies. An hour later, after the rescue, the Wildcat hovers in the air over the road junction where Gabby had left their Volvo. Gabby and Kate slide down the rope dangling from the helicopter, and an airman follows them strapped to Hans, lying on a stretcher so they can get him back to Earth. The airman unstraps Hans and helps him stand. The airman clips back on the line, waves to the winchman, and is pulled back up into the Wildcat. It turns in the air and pulls away in the sky. Gabby walks to the undergrowth where they left the Volvo, drives it to the road, and Kate helps Hans inside. "Where to?" says Kate, as she clambers in the front seat next to Gabby. "There's the ski lodge you mentioned, Hans," says Gabby. "Amondine's place. We'll try there." In the ski lodge, Laravel and Luke are asleep. When they arrived a couple of hours ago, they both went to one of the bedrooms and fell asleep immediately, after being awake all night. Luke wakes up first. He sits up against the headboard and looks out through the window at the snow falling outside. Laravel stirs a few minutes later. She's thirsty and goes to make tea. The sound of a vehicle on the road outside makes her pull back the blind in the front room. Gabby is the first to get out. Laravel walks to the front door and opens it. "We were attacked," she says, without prompting, as they meet outside the lodge. "They were following you. There's a tracker on your car," says Gabby. "Is Luke here?" Laravel nods, then sees Kate helping Hans out of the Volvo with his foot in a plastic boot. "What happened?" We stole a helicopter, and the guys following you shot us down. They all get Hans inside and comfortable on the sofa. Then Luke appears in the doorway to the lounge. "You're the gang who stole the gold," he says. They all turn to him. "They're friends, Luke. They're not dangerous." He's quiet. "Luke, we're only here to protect you," says Gabby. "I'm Lena." She holds out her hand and he shakes it. Gabby turns to Kate. "This is Suki, and the broken man is Theo." They nod to Luke in turn. "We stay here today," continues Gabby. "Then we make a run for it, at dawn tomorrow." "Do you know who the men are who attacked us?" says Luke. "Hired help, we think," she says. "Out to kill both of you is our guess. Do you know Oscar Zetkin?" "Of course," he says. "He probably paid for them because of the robbery, to help Amandine." "I'm going to cook breakfast," says Laravel. "I'm starving." They eat, then rest. Sometime during the day, Gabby tells Kate and Hans to rig the driveway with a makeshift explosive device, in case the men should be out looking for them. The Volvo XC90 is equipped with a standard MI6 Field Pack 2A, containing light arms and field defense kit. Hans finds a tripwire, and they rig it across the driveway, joined at one end to plastic explosive. By nightfall, the five of them have spent the day staying out of sight, but there's been no sign of the chasing gang. They all eat after dusk, then dissolve away to their rooms, due to the early start in the morning. Laravel and Luke share a room and make love. Afterwards, they lay awake with the curtains open and watch the stars. "What happened to the gold?" he says. "Shipped across Europe." "To be sold?" "I don't know," she lies. "Did you keep any?" "Theo's got one." She immediately regrets saying the words, but doesn't say any more, as it will make matters worse. "What about those ideas for a holiday? You coming with me?" She sits up and looks at him. "I can't commit to anything," she says, and kisses him. They chat for a while longer. Then Laravel is falling asleep and lays her head on his chest. He can hear her breaths become regular after a minute, and her head falls down against his skin. Luke doesn't sleep, and keeps looking at the sky. After what seems like a long time to him, he moves his body from underneath Laravel's. He lays her arm gently back down on the sheets. He gets up and pulls the duvet over her body. He dresses, trying to make no noise, and keeps checking across at her face every few moments to make sure that he doesn't wake her up. Luke tiptoes across the landing to the room that Hans took for the night. He silently pushes down on the door handle and steps inside. Hans is sleeping heavily on his back and snoring. Luke walks around the bed and goes down on his haunches next to an army bag that Hans had brought in with him from the car. Luke picks through the contents, which is mostly spare clothing, but at the bottom, one of the T-shirts is wrapped around a heavy object. Luke pulls back the fabric and can see the brightness of the gold bar, even in the near pitch darkness of the room. He looks back at Hans's face, but he's out for the count. Luke picks up the bar, still wrapped in the T-shirt, and treads slowly back out to the landing. He descends the stairs, takes a jacket from the back of the chair in the kitchen, and walks to the front door. Once outside, Luke finds Amandine's BMW 760i. The snow has started to fall heavily again, and comes at him from out of a black sky. He drops down into the driver's seat and puts the gold bar under the front passenger seat. He knows he'll have to leave quickly once he starts the engine, as they're bound to hear it in the ski lodge. Luke breathes in through his nose, then out again quickly. The engine breaks the stillness of the night, and he rapidly shifts into drive and pushes the pedal down. Kate is the first to hear the vehicle start up. She wakes immediately and runs to her window, but can see nothing. "Vehicle!" she shouts, and the words reach inside the sleeping brains of the others at different speeds. Gabby appears in the hallway. "Luke's not here," Laravel shouts from her room. Hans is the last to open his door. "Do we go after him?" says Kate. "I'm not sure we need to." Gabby looks at the people watching her and ends on Laravel. "Did he say anything, Jenny?" "He was talking about going away somewhere. He wanted me to go with him, but I said no." "Then I say we let him run." "There is one thing." Laravel winces. "I told him about Gordon's gold bar." "Check it," says Gabby to Hans. He turns and hobbles back into his room. "It's gone," he calls a moment later. "Then we find him," says Gabby. They all pull on their clothes and congregate by the front door. Kate opens it and looks out at the silently falling snow. "It'll be bloody difficult following him in this," she says. "There are snowmobiles, Gabby," says Hans, "in the outbuilding. I saw them earlier." "We'll use them. Gordon, you follow up in the Volvo. Sorry, you're not fit for combat. Kate, go and get our comms headsets from the car." The women run out of the house and across to a brick storeroom at the edge of the grounds. Inside, there are 4 Skidoo MXZ machines. Kate arrives with the comms, and they all clip them onto one ear. Laravel pulls back the large sliding door of the outbuilding, and they start the engines. As the snowmobiles roar over the ridge from the ski lodge and into the fields beyond, Hans watches the 3 headlights bounce away across the whiteness before he turns back to the Volvo. The spies ride down the mountainside. After 1 minute, Laravel's voice comes through on comms headsets. "I can see some headlights over on the right-hand side." Gabby turns her machine in that direction and the others follow. Now they can all see a set of lights moving quickly downhill ahead of them. As they watch, a second pair of lights appears on the same road, then a third pair, close behind. "The gang have spotted him," says Gabby. "They must have been lying in wait." The snowmobiles reach the edge of a steep drop where the road dips down into the valley. They can see Luke's taillights 100 yards downhill. Gabby leads the others along a route beside the road, over deep snow that's stacked on the embankment. The hill gets precariously steeper very quickly. Suddenly, Gabby's snowmobile accelerates out of her control, careering towards the valley floor. "Go laterally," she calls on comms to Kate and Laravel, and they divert to a route that scans back and forth across the hillside to avoid the steepness. There's a moment when she is in freefall. The skidoo hits a snowbank, which cushions her speed, but she is still falling. Finally, she reaches the valley floor and pushes deep into a snowdrift. The machine turns sideways, and Gabby is thrown off, but she's unhurt. After a second, she remounts. The others catch her up, and the chase starts again. Luke's taillights are on the other side of the valley now, starting to climb. The 3 women trace a path through the trees, along the banks of an ice-cold stream. Kate sees a rise in the land on the riverbank. She twists her wrist to get her snowmobile into the air and over the water. She hits the ground on the other side, pushing her down into the seat. The other women follow suit, each machine leaping the running stream. Now, they track uphill, keeping the roadway on their right-hand side. The route for cars on this side of the valley has tight turns, and the snowmobiles have the advantage. They cut up through the powdery snow, all the while gaining on Luke. Just as they are within 50 metres of his BMW, the black Toyotas appear on the road, right near to the women. The gang have seen them, and shots start to ring out from the leading vehicle. The tree cover between the spies and the men is the only thing that prevents them getting a clean shot. The cars and the snowmobiles speed on, side by side, up the mountain. "Kate," shouts Gabby, "try and take out the tyres." Kate pulls out her Beretta. She takes aim across the speeding gap at the leading SUV. Her first shot hits the side door. The second hits one of the windows, and the glass cascades into the vehicle over the men inside. Her third shot is on target. The Toyota swerves across the tarmac, and the driver struggles to steer. The car swerves again and hits the side barrier that separates the road from a sheer drop down a rock face. The driver turns the wheel hard in the other direction, and the SUV starts to spin around. The back end accelerates faster and hits the barrier again. The men inside both grapple with the wheel to stop the momentum. There's a moment when the spinning slows, and they think they have control. But the car hits the barrier for a third time, as a sharp corner turns uphill, and the Toyota crumples the corner of the barrier and rams into the metal, bending the central post. The Toyota pushes on through the barrier and into the curtain of falling snow. It continues its horizontal path in the air, then gradually dips towards the earth. The spies watch it arc out from the hillside and rotate, then hit the rock on the way down and roll again. As it hits the side of the mountain for a second time, the fuel ignites, and a ball of flame engulfs the falling metal as it hurtles downwards. Then another explosion as it hits the ground. As she's watching the blaze, Gabby feels the first bullet hit her shoulder, then a second. She falls sideways and off the snowmobile, and a steady stream of blood starts to pump out of her broken skin and into the snow around her.